Hello, Heartland family, and welcome back to your go-to location for everything Heartland related. I'm your host, and the video today is one that everyone has been waiting for. In Season 19, Episode 1, Ty Borden has returned to Heartland after experiencing so much pain, mystery, and hope. Every part of the ranch has been emotionally shaken by his sudden reappearance. In today's deep dive breakdown, we'll take you through each step of how Heartland created this impressive comeback. We'll talk about how the show set the stage for his return, Amy's emotional reaction, Lindy's innocent yet moving response, the emotional wisdom of Jack, Lou's inner conflict, Georgie's maturity, Tim's battle between toughness and heart, and most importantly, the quiet, raw, and tearful conversation between Ty and Amy that might change everything. If you are a fervent Heartland fan, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a comment about what this return means to you. Your feelings, memories, and thoughts, they all matter here. Now, get in your saddle because this is going to be an emotional and beautiful ride. Before we dive into the whirlwind of emotions in Season 19, Episode 1, we have to look at how Heartland set the stage for Ty Borden's return. Breadcrumbs abound in Season 18, including Amy's quiet conversations with Jack about Ty's absence, flashbacks to happier times, and a few dream sequences in which she heard his voice or saw his silhouette in the distance. All of these moments slowly built the feeling that something wasn't quite finished. The biggest hint came in Season 18's final episode. During a stunning wide-angle shot of the Heartland Ranch at sunset, the camera lingering on a shadowy figure watching from a distance was a little too much. The angle was distant and the lighting obscured the figure's face, but for longtime fans, it was unmistakable. Ty's stance, Ty's aura. And just like that, speculation exploded in the Heartland fandom. Might it be? Was he in fact alive? In that case, where had he been? The premiere of Season 19 wastes no time answering these questions. The episode starts off in peace. Life goes on at the ranch. Jack is doing his usual chores, Lindy is playing with her pony, and Amy is feeding the horses. It's peaceful, almost too peaceful. Then, suddenly, there's a knock at the barn door. Amy opens it, and everything stops. Ty is standing there in the rain. Not a dream, not a reminiscence. The genuine Ty Borden. His face is older, his eyes are tired, but the love in them is unmistakable. Amy's hand slowly rises to her mouth, her knees nearly buckle, and the screen fades to black. The show lets the moment unfold without providing any immediate explanations for Ty's return. That's the genius of Heartland storytelling. It's time to find out how each character responds to this miracle now. Seeing Ty once more feels like being thrown into a storm without warning to Amy. In a breathtaking split second, everything she believed and buried comes crashing to the surface. Her initial reaction is shock. She stares at him as if he's a ghost. Her heart knows it's real, but her mind can't catch up. She doesn't run into his arms. She backs away instead, shaking and overcome with doubt and fear. It's not anger she feels at first, it's emotional overload. After all these years of grieving, of raising Lindy alone, of trying to be strong for her daughter, Amy had found a way to survive. And now all of that is upended. When she finally finds her voice, her first words to Ty are filled with a mixture of pain and accusation. "How could you let me believe you were dead?" She doesn't say it to hurt him. She says it because the grief she carried all this time deserves a voice. The show beautifully captures Amy's struggle to balance rage and relief. There's a scene later in the episode where she goes into her mother's old room, clutches Ty's old jacket to her chest, and cries silently. Tears of heartbreak and hope tangled together. It's one of the rawest moments we've seen from her in seasons. Ty doesn't try to interrupt. He gives her space, knowing that what he's asking for, forgiveness, reconnection, even love, will take time. But through every pause and glance, it's clear their love never died. It simply waited. Lindy's response to seeing her father for the first time in years is one of the most emotionally rich and pure moments in the entire episode. While the adults around her are stunned, guarded, or even overwhelmed with emotion, Lindy approaches the moment with the kind of innocence that only a child can bring. She has no recollection of Ty's departure. She didn't witness the heartbreak, the funerals, or the years of silence that followed. All she knows is the father she's heard about in bedtime stories. The man Amy told her loved horses, healed animals, and loved her and her mommy deeply. Because of this, Lindy simply walks toward Ty, her teeny-weeny boots crunching in the mud, when she sees Ty standing in the barn doorway, drenched from the rain and hesitant to speak. Her expression reveals only curiosity rather than fear. Ty kneels down, his voice cracking as he says, "Hi, I'm your dad." Lindy pauses, looks at him for a moment, then quietly says, "I know." It's as if she's been waiting for this moment her whole life, even if she didn't fully understand it. She wraps her arms around him, and in that embrace, time seems to stop. That single gesture, so simple, so instinctive, cuts through years of separation and loss. Amy watches nearby, her hand covering her mouth as tears stream down her face. Because in that moment, she's witnessing something sacred, the beginning of a bond between father and daughter that's been delayed but never denied. Later in the episode, when Lindy excitedly shows Ty her pony and teaches him how she feeds the animals, it's as though no time has been lost. The child's heart doesn't need explanations, it only responds to love. And in this emotional reunion, Heartland reminds us that sometimes the most powerful healing comes not through words, but through the innocent trust of a child. Jack Bartlett has always been the rock of the Heartland family, strong, steady, and full of hard-earned wisdom. But when Ty walks through the doors of the ranch, alive after all these years, even Jack's stoic exterior begins to crack. The first time Jack sees Ty again, he doesn't speak. His jaw tightens, his eyes widen slightly, and he simply stares, as if trying to understand whether what he's seeing is real. And once he accepts that it is real, a storm brews inside him, a mixture of shock, betrayal, love, and immense relief. In a private moment, Jack takes Ty out to the barn where they used to work side by side. There are many fond memories there. Knowing what's coming, Ty stands there with his head lowered. Jack doesn't yell. He doesn't cry. Instead, he says, "You left a hole in this place, in all of us," with a quiet intensity. "I had to watch Amy raise Lindy alone. I had to hold that family together, and I did it thinking you were never coming back." Ty tries to explain the government protection, the danger he couldn't put them in, the constant fear. But Jack stops him. "You should have trusted us to be strong. You taught us how." But as the conversation unfolds, Jack's tone softens. He looks at Ty, really looks at him, and sees the man he once mentored, the boy who became family. "You may have been gone, but I never stopped thinking of you as my son," Jack says, emotion breaking through his steady voice. That's Jack's gift, his ability to forgive not by forgetting, but by understanding. He doesn't offer instant absolution, but he offers something more valuable, a path forward. And as he places a weathered hand on Ty's shoulder and tells him, "Welcome home, son," it becomes clear that no matter how deep the wound, Jack's heart is big enough to heal it. Lou Fleming has always been the practical one, the planner, the protector, the one who keeps things together when everyone else falls apart. So when Ty returns, Lou's emotions are complicated, tangled in both love and anger. She watches Amy freeze in the doorway when Ty arrives, and her instincts kick in immediately. Protect her sister, shield Lindy, question the truth. Her first words to Ty are laced with disbelief. "Are you really standing here after all this time?" Lou isn't just shocked, she's hurt. She remembers the nights Amy couldn't stop crying, the mornings when Lindy asked about her daddy and got silence in return. Lou endured the consequences of Ty's disappearance and is unsure whether she can readily forgive him. But as the episode progresses, something shifts. Lou begins to see that Ty isn't just returning out of guilt or obligation. He wants to be home. She watches how he talks to Lindy, the way he stands in the same kitchen he once laughed in, and the quiet sorrow in his eyes when he sees how much we miss him. Later, she sits down with him, her arms crossed but her voice less sharp. "Do you have any idea what you put us through?" she demands. Ty expresses regret with a nod. "Every day it haunted me." There's a long pause. Then Lou says, "If you're really here for good, then prove it. Be there, stay, recuperate your losses." Although it is not a declaration of forgiveness, it is a start. By the end of the episode, when Lou helps prepare dinner and places an extra plate at the table without saying a word, we realize that beneath her tough exterior, Lou is willing to hope again. She knows deep down that family is worth fighting for, even when it hurts. Georgie's response to Ty's return is a mirror of the maturity she's developed over the years. Gone is the impulsive teenager who once ran away or lashed out. In her place stands a young woman who's faced the world, trained as an athlete, and learned to carry her emotions with grace and strength. Although Georgie was away competing when she first heard the news, she booked the next flight home immediately. When she walks into the ranch and sees Ty standing there, she doesn't cry, shout, or collapse. Instead, she calmly approaches him, looks at his face and says, "I always believed you'd come back. You were the first person who believed in me when no one else did," she says. "I briefly lost that belief." Ty listens, guilt weighing heavy, but Georgie doesn't let the moment drown in sorrow. Her words are not intended to shame, but rather to remind. Georgie forgives not by forgetting the past, but by recognizing how she's grown because of it. She also gives Ty something that very few other people can, the assurance that his influence never really went away. It changed just like she did. Tim is perhaps the most complicated when it comes to dealing with Ty's return. Always the tough guy, Tim carries guilt, pride, and love in equal measure. At first, he can't even look Ty in the eye. His words are harsh. "You just vanished after everything we went through." But his anger hides a much deeper pain, the loss he never fully accepted. Tim is seen in the barn late at night holding a wedding photo of Amy and Ty. His voice cracks, so he never speaks to anyone. "She needed you, you know." Eventually, the walls break down. In a wordless moment, Tim walks up to Ty the next day, hands him a tool for a ranch repair, and says, "Go to work." He says it to say, "You're still family." The rough but sincere handshake that follows is evidence that even the hardest hearts can heal. As the episode draws to a close, Ty and Amy finally sit down for the conversation they've both been avoiding, the one that holds years of pain, love, questions, and longing. It's late at night, the sky blanketed with stars, and they're sitting by a small fire near the riverbank. The silence between them is heavy, not awkward, but sacred, filled with things that are too hard to say out loud. Ty begins, his voice low and raw. "I don't know where to begin. There's so much I missed. I ought to have said so much. Amy doesn't talk back. She lets him speak. He talks about the mission that went wrong, the threats he faced, the months in isolation where he couldn't contact anyone without risking their safety. As he says, his tears well up in his eyes. Every day I thought about you, each and every day." Amy finally speaks, and her voice trembles. "I required you. Lindy required you. And when you didn't come back, it broke me." Her words land like stones, but they are true. She tells him about Lindy's first word, her first steps, the nights when she would cry for her dad, and Amy had no answer. Ty watches, crying, and softly says, "I had no intention of harming you, but I did. I'll never stop trying to make things right either." The emotion in the air is palpable. Amy looks at him and for the first time truly sees the man in front of her. Not a ghost, not a memory, but Ty. Her Ty. She mumbles, I don't know if we can return to our previous state. Ty replies, we might not be required to. Maybe we're supposed to build something new, together. Amy leans in, resting her forehead against his. They don't kiss, not yet, but the connection between them is undeniable. A spark that never died, only dimmed. As the fire flickers, they sit together, two souls finally reunited, not by fate, but by choice. They begin all over again in that still night, with hope and pain mixed in. That's it for today's breakdown of Ty Borden's emotional return in Heartland Season 19, Episode 1. What did you think of the characters' reactions and the journey Ty and Amy are about to embark on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Next Flying for more Heartland content, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more Heartland discussions.